All right. Well, today on Purpose and Profit, I am honored to introduce a truly inspiring guest, Jose Cortez. Jose is a 22-year retired Air Force Master Sergeant who's taken the discipline and dedication from his military career and channeled it into building an incredible real estate business. He began his investing journey in 2016, starting with wholesaling before expanding into fix and flips, Airbnb, arbitrage, long-term rentals, and midterm rentals. Now he's focused on lending and acquiring co-living properties, creating opportunities for both community and cash flow. Jose's story is one of growth, grit, and constantly evolving in the pursuit of purpose. Whether you're new to real estate or deep in the trenches, you're going to walk away with some real gems today. Let's welcome Jose Cortez to the show. Hello.
Yay. Hi, everybody. How's everything going?
Good. So you have done it all.
For the most part, yeah. You gotta test the water, see what fits, what doesn't fit. So I've pretty much done it all to see what I liked and didn't like.
Okay. So tell me first what you did not like doing.
Wholesaling, I don't like doing, and cold calling, don't like doing. Talking to agents, I could do it all day because I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but uh, they're less threatening, I guess. Right? They're more professionals, and when you call sellers, you never know what you're going to get on the other end. Some people are grateful that you call, and some are pissed off that you call. So you never know what you're going to get when you call them. So those are things I pretty much don't like. I mean, everything else is, you know, awesome, I guess.
I also have a tendency of spending like 45 minutes on the phone with a seller. So sometimes you can spend a long time.
I think the longest I spent with a seller was hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes, and we didn't speak a lick of about the property themselves. We were talking about their lives and things that we had in common, and um, just kind of more building rapport than anything. And as good as I do, that's way too long to be on a phone call with a seller. But sometimes just being there to let people talk and listen to them sometimes is the best way to build that rapport. So luckily for me, I didn't have any pending appointments, so I could give them that time.
Absolutely. No, that's true. Okay. And then on your adventure through all of the things, what would you say? I know right now you're walking into co-living, so we'll jump into that in the going forward.
Okay.
But before you get to co-living, would you say has been your favorite so far?
Favorite so far, I would say fix and flipping would be my favorite so far. Um, I don't consider myself a visionary, but I love walking into a house and seeing what it could be under the roughness of the existing um, what's the word, look. I guess is the best way. I was trying to find a fancy word, but I'll go with look. Seeing most people like the open floor concept, so seeing what walls I could potentially take down to give that from the front door to the back door type of openness that most people are looking for, or see how you can repurpose a room to make it more beneficial for the people that are potentially going to move in. Um, yeah, I mean that's kind of where I love it because again, you get to be creative, and don't in my normal day to day life, I don't always get that opportunity to explore that creative side.
Absolutely. And that's going to come in handy for you in creating these co-living spaces.
Exactly.
So while you're walking into your next era, will you still be fixing and flipping or just your co-living properties?
I think so. Fix and flip for sure. A lot of people that I partner with, they're open to doing fix and flips, and of course, depending on the market that you're in, it could be something fairly quickly. I should say, very quick turnaround as far as earning potential. Um, and then, of course, my co-living, and then potentially wholesaling. As much as I don't like to do it, it serves a purpose, and people that are being very successful at it. So when you need some quick funds, wholesaling is always the go-to.
It is. Well, and we happen to just come across deals, right? Like as you're doing other things, you come across deals that you can't do anything with right now, and it lets you create that space. So, absolutely.
Well, it's not necessarily that. Well, that and the fact that maybe it's not my buy box, right? But I know somebody whose buy box it does fit in. And one of the things that I've learned is don't miss an opportunity to earn an income, even if it's maybe just connecting two people. Um, Try to see what you can do to make the deal happen, whether you wholesale to somebody that they brought it to you, or you connect two people, a buyer and a wholesaler or seller, and try to make a connecting fee that way. So try not to let any kind of opportunity pass you by, because there's always a way to, as Pace would say, wedge yourself in there.
There is. Absolutely. All right. So, you've been in the space for almost 10 years.
Yep.
So, you have to have at least one crazy story. So, I was hoping that you would share one crazy story that has transpired during your real estate career.
I have multiple. I mean, you can't be in this industry and not have the
Story.
horror stories. Um, let's see. I could probably tell you two short. Not even short. I could be long winded on it if I really wanted to be. But um, I'll talk about my first fix and flip. So I told you I hated wholesaling, but I was wholesaling. Um, was working with a seller, direct to seller, and I negotiated a reduction in price for $43,000. And I thought I had a buyer, and then my buyer backed out. And so I was like, I had a choice. I could either be a typical wholesaler and say, well, I can't find a buyer, so I'm gonna let this contract go, or I could, pull my big boy pants up and try my hands at whole fix and flipping. So I decided I was going to make that my first fix and flip, because I didn't want to disappoint the seller after I had just asked for a reduction in price. I found myself a partner, and this is where the bad stuff comes in, because I thought I had um, structured a partnership where I was protected as a partner in the thing, and I really didn't, because I didn't realize that through the hundred, I'd say I'm over exaggerating here, over 100 emails of going back and forth on tweaking this joint venture agreement, that he never signed it. So he got, my partner on this deal was the one that got the funding. I was a silent partner, where I helped him pay the mortgage payment, but I wasn't on the loan itself, nor was I on title in that case, right? So um, fast forward, we got done with our flip in about 6 weeks, which is pretty good, right? And we were on the market during Christmas time, so we actually came in right after the new year. And this investor decided to get a second mortgage. He basically got a private money lender, a second mortgage on the house, which took all of my income, the money that I put into it, plus the profit I was going to get. So, needless to say, I it was my first deal that I actually lost money on, because I didn't protect myself well enough. Kind of what they call a very valuable lesson or webinar. I tried to sue him and take him to court, and the lawyer that I approached said, "You have a case. You'll win your case, but you're going to pay me $15,000, and you won't see a dime of the money that you're owed, because you'll get a judgment, and they'll just close their LLC, or they won't have any assets to go after. So you're going to spend money just to get a judgment." And that kind of, reality hit. It was like, my money's gone, and now what? So I had to kind of again pick up my big boy pants, and that's when I got into Airbnb arbitrage. Figured that would be a little bit less risky.
And it's crazy. Like, I think you said this before you started that story. So many people have so many lessons, but lessons are always hard learned in real estate.
And can be expensive.
And you learned a lot in that one. You learned the power of picking the right partner, of having a solid JV agreement, of lawsuits are kind of pointless in real estate. Like so many lessons.
I didn't use the transaction coordinator.
I know. If you'd have had me on your side, we wouldn't have any of these. We'd be talking about the profit you made.
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah, no, that's a little bit wild. That's crazy. And you still kept going, which is like such a testament to your character and you knowing that this space is like for you. And I just love that story of resiliency right there.
Like I said, I've had a few of them in my career, unfortunately, and it seems like each lesson was a little bit more expensive as I learned it, unfortunately. But yeah, I've tried to walk away from real estate twice, like because I lost money and just said it wasn't for me. And over a period of time, I just kept getting drawn back to it. So I just stopped fighting. I'm like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm just going to do it. And I'll take the lumps. Hopefully, I can avoid any more expensive expensive lessons. But and if I do have a lesson, at least I find a way to mitigate it and not make it sting so much.
Absolutely. I think we all just must be a little bit crazy to stay in this space because
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so lots of lessons learned. You've done so many things, which I think leads to so much experience in the space. So why are you deciding now to walk into the co-living space?
Well, a few years ago, I looked into getting into multifamily, and getting into multifamily is not as easy as some may portray it to be. Um, you have to pretty much build a team. You have a little bit more risk because you deal with the SEC with securities and stuff. Co-living, you kind of have the benefit of having a multifamily, but the ease of entry as a single family. What do I mean by that? In multifamily, you're talking about in some cases millions of dollars to get into an asset. You have to raise, a couple hundred, if not a few $100,000 just for a down payment. You have to raise the money for your capex, and you have to have a key principal to sponsor your loan. You got to have people that are willing to do guest relations because you got to make sure that you take care of the people that are don't basically putting money into your deal. You got to have boots on the ground if to make sure that the asset is performing and that the upkeep of the property, and then again, of course, meeting the regulations, federal regulations of documenting and informing your investors of what's going on with the project. Where in co-living, I get to have technically one asset, easy to get into because usually the cost for a single family home is considerably less than a multifamily, depending on where you're buying it. And so therefore your down payment will be less. I get the benefit of the multifamily because in co-living, you're basically renting by the room. So instead of having one asset of the house, you have multiple assets, which is each room. So you could go from a 4-bedroom single family to, up to a 10, 12 bedroom, depending on the space that's available to you. So I go from a 1 unit to 12 units. So I get the benefit of, like I said, multifamily and the cash flow of a multifamily as well. Where let's say rent was $2,500, with a single family, I could potentially make $5,000 turning it into a co-living. So it allows me to 2x, 3x, depending on the market that I'm in, to increase my cash flow, but also provide affordable housing for people, which is my main focus is to try to find a way to help people find their home or at least find some affordable living.
Absolutely. It's definitely a desperate need in our country right now.
Desperate.
Yeah. What's your ideal market? Where are you looking?
So I decided I've invested out of state, and that was tough trying to find property management companies and trying to find a handyman to just do little odds and end fixes. So right now I'm focusing on Colorado, between Fort Collins and Colorado Springs, because that's within about 2 hour drive for me, and Central Florida, because I have a lot of family in that area. So if I did need boots on the ground or a handyman, I can lean on family to help me out in those situations. So those are my markets for now, until I build my empire and I can afford to fly different places, or at least be able to train somebody in that local area to be my property manager slash handyman for my assets. So I have a little bit more control, build my processes and my systems locally, and then I can expand out.
Absolutely. The other really nice thing about Colorado is that they made the law where counties can't ban how many unrelated people are living in the same house.
Exactly.
In Florida, that's one thing that we're starting to come across a lot, is that counties are banning it. Some people are doing it like unethically,
Sure.
but I think that the process of, making these larger houses more affordable, they're nice for everyone to live in, have their own space, is not quite the same, but it's still hurting, like, the in-between person that's trying to do a good job.
Sure. Yeah, in Florida, I interviewed a guy. His name is Adrian, who does mobile homes, and that's kind of something that I'm looking to try to provide affordable housing in Florida, because he just has a lot, puts a mobile home on it, or gets one that's already has a mobile home on it, and does very minor repairs, and then rents it out as a whole unit. And then he goes, if I wanted to, I could do co-living strategy with that as well. So even better, because now I'm being able to provide service to multiple people and keep it affordable and still cash flow.
Right. Which at the end of the day, if we're not cash flowing, we're not able to pay for capital repairs, and we're not able to do the other things. So we have to be able to pay our bills on our properties that we own. No one is creating right now wealth with any of these exit strategies.
Well, and like I said, if we don't make money, we can't keep helping other people, right? Just because we're helping those, let's say it's a 3 bedroom mobile home, right? If I'm helping those 3 people, if I'm not making any money from that, I can't help another 3 people. So it's not always just about keeping it affordable for them, but it has to be, like you said, cash flowing, so that you have the ability to continue to help other people on top of the ones that you're already helping.
Absolutely. I love it. So if someone wanted to work with you, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
Facebook, you see my handle there for my YouTube channel, or Instagram. You can email me, J Cortez at CortezHomeSolutions.com. All those are great ways to get a hold of me. I try to make myself available for most people. And if you DM me, I'll send you my calendar link, so we can set up a call. I love to work with anybody that's willing to work with me.
That's awesome. And what is your buy box currently, if someone were to bring you a deal?
So for co-living, I'm looking for 3 bedroom plus or 2 bedroom plus, over 2,000 square feet. No HOA. They tend to frown upon multiple people living in one house. Older than 1950. And if you're in the Colorado market, I would say no more than 650K. That seems to be the kind of the sticking point. In Florida, I think I'm at like 450 is the median price for me there. That makes sense. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple as far as buy boxes, because it's the biggest thing is square footage and no HOA. Everything else is pretty standard. Because I could technically do a 2-1, but it really has to have the size to expand.
Absolutely. Well, and you're a 2-1 at 2,000 square feet. I mean, you might have some living room space there.
There you go. Exactly.
I love it. Well, Jose, thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your adventure with us. I hope a lot of people connect with you, and I can't wait to catch up and see how the co-living space is going for you.
I appreciate you having me on and allowing me to share my story with people, and hope to hear from many of your followers and subscribers. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Show her some support.
Thank you.
You're welcome.